Fine, he said, reaching into the side pocket of his gray slacks and extricating a couple of fives. Kristen watched them out of the corner of her eyes as she carried the pomegranate martini to the woman sitting at the small table in the far corner. Of the three men, Jeff, dressed from head to toe in his signature black, was easily the best looking with his finely honed features and wavy blonde hair. She suspected he secretly highlighted. Here she suspected he secretly highlighted, although she never asked. Jeff had a quicker temper, and you never know what was going to set him off. Unlike Tom, she thought, shifting her gaze to the skinny, dark haired man wearing blue jeans and a checkered shirt who stood to Jeff's immediate right. Everything set him off. Off. 6 feet, 2 inches of barely contained fur, she thought, wondering how his wife stood it. It's Afghanistan, Laney had confided just the other week as Jeff was regaling the bar's patrons with the story of how Tom, enraged by an umpire bad call, had pulled a gun from the waistband of his jeans and put a bullet through his brand new plasma TV. A TV he couldn't afford and still hadn't fully paid for. Ever since he got back, she whispered under the waves of laughter that accompanied the story, leaving the thought unfinished. It didn't seem to matter that Tom had been home for the better part of 5 years. Jeff and Tom had been best friends since high school, the two men enlisting in the army together, serving several tours of duty in Afghanistan. Jeff had come home a hero. Tom had come back disgraced, having been dishonest or dishonorably discharged from an unprovoked assault on an innocent civilian. That was all she really knew about their time over there. Kristen realized neither Jeff nor Tom would talk about it. She deposited the rose pink martini on the round wooden table in front of the dark haired young woman, casually studying her flawless, if pale, complexion. Was that a bruise on her chin? The woman handed her a rumpled $20 bill. Keep the change, she said quietly, turning away from Kristen could thank her, before Kristen could thank her. Kristen quickly pocketed the money and returned to the bar, the ankle strap of her high-heeled silver sandals chafing against her bare skin. The men were now placing bets on who could balance a peanut on his nose the longest. Tom should win that one, hands down, she thought. His nose boasted a large ridge at its tip that the others lacked. Jeff's nose was narrow and straight, as handsomely chiseled as the rest of him, while Will's was wider and slightly crooked, which only added to his air of wounded vulnerability. Why so wounded? She wondered, deciding he probably took after his mother. Jeff, on the other hand, looked exactly like his father. She knew that because she'd stumbled across an old photograph of the two of them when she was cleaning out a bedroom drawer just after she moved in about a year ago. Who's this? She asked, hearing Jeff come up behind her and pointing at the picture of a rugged-looking man with wavy hair and a cocky grin, his large forearm resting heavily on the shoulder of a solemn-faced young boy. Jeff had snatched it from her hand and returned it to the drawer. What are you doing? Just trying to make room for some of my things, she said, purposely ignoring the tone in his voice that warned her to back off. Is that you and your dad? Yeah, thought so. You look just like him. That's what my mother always said. With that, he'd slammed the drawer closed and left the room. Haha, I win, shouted Tom now, raising his fist in the air in triumph as the peanut Jeff had been balancing on his nose dribbling past his mouth, and chin and dropped up to the floor. Hey, Kristen, Jeff said, his voice just tight enough to reveal how much he hated losing, even at something as insignificant as this. What's happening with those grenade martinis? Pomegranate? Will corrected, then immediately wished he hadn't. A bolt of anger, like lightning, flashed through Jeff's eyes. What the hell is a pomegranate anyway? Sorry. Tom asked. It's a red fruit, hard shell, tons of seed, lots of antioxidants. Kristen answered. Supposedly very good for you. She deposited the first of the pale rose-colored martinis on the bar in front of them. Jeff lifted the glass to his nose and sniffed at it suspiciously. What's an antioxidant? Antioxidant, Tom asked Will. Why are you asking him? Jeff snapped. He was a philosopher, not a scientist. Enjoy, Kristen said, placing the other two martinis on the counter. Jeff held up his glass, waited for Tom and Will to do the same. To the winner, he said. All three men promptly threw back their heads, gulping at the liquid as if gasping for air. Done, Jeff whooped, lowering his glass to the bar in triumph. Christ, that's awful, man. That's awful stuff, said Tom, with a grimace half a second later. How do people drink this shit? What do you think, little brother? Jeff asked as Will swallowed the last of the drink. Not half bad, Will said. He liked it when Jeff referred to him as his little brother, even though, strictly speaking, they were only half brothers. Same father, different mothers. Not half good either, Jeff was saying now, with a wink at no one in particular.